Welcome to episode 322 of the Confidence in the Klutch podcast with Donald Nelson on the Confidence in the Klutch network, man. Hoping all of y'all are having a safe and healthy holiday. Hopefully you had a safe and healthy holiday weekend so far. I want to send thoughts and prayers to the city of Philadelphia, where they had a mass shooting yesterday, to the city of Baltimore, where they had a mass shooting today, to the family of a 15-year-old that was shot after our major fireworks in the city yesterday. Don't know if they were correlated coming from or whatnot. And to all the senseless acts of violence that permeates in the black community, you know, we gotta get to the point where you know, it can't be Black Lives Matter when white people do shit to us, right? But then it ain't Black Lives Matter when we do our own shit. And I know some people don't like that, but there's no such thing as black on black crime. What it is a proximity crime, meaning if you live in an amalgamous community, I might say the wrong word, which is a melting pot of different ethnicities, different people are going to get killed. You know what I'm saying? But when you live in all black, all Asian, all Hispanic, all white, the people that's going to kill is the people that you are around, your homogeneous population or whatever. So thoughts and prayers to everybody. Please, let's take the 4th out the right way. You know, the times that we live in this country is just turning into repeated garbage that has been going on for a long time. And we need to get better. We need to fix things. But, you know, we got to fix stuff ourselves in the black community. There's nobody else's job to fix this. This is our we got to fix it. We got to stop. We got to fix it. You know what I mean? And that's what I got to say on that. Let's jump into it, y'all. You know what it is? You know why we here, man. Pitch this track. You're ready to talk about some shit, man. Switching things up. We getting right into the NBA shit, man. Let's talk about some light shit. Then we get into the Supreme Court and all that. All right. NBA free agency. So last week, the Clippers waived Eric Gordon, freeing up $100 million on their luxury tax bill, and that's cool. Eric Gordon ended up signing with the Phoenix Suns. He's played with the Phoenix Suns before, so this is going home. That's going to be a nice addition for handling that rock out there in Arizona, because he can handle the rock. Harden opts into his $35.6 million player option with the Sixers, and then he requests a trade. The problem is, it's an expiring. The Sixers is the only team that can pay him that top dollar. Other teams can't, so he's in a fucked up place. So we got to see what's going to go on with that. You know, there's rumors to trade with him reportedly wanting to go to the Clippers or whatever, but once again, these teams are in control where you go. There's only one person that had a no trade clause, and that was Bradley Beal. You know what I mean? Where he picked where he was going and shit. So Harden got to wait this shit out. It might be the best thing for him to just stay in Philly, play out this contract. We know he left money on the back end last season to help the team out. So the goal was to help him out, but his numbers didn't permeate that shit, and he didn't show up in the playoffs to say we need to pay you this bread hard. So he kind of fucked himself, not once but twice. Shit. So is that on Harden? Let me know in the comments, y'all. I was thinking about Bruce Brown, where he should go. You know what I mean? But Bruce Brown, he went somewhere else. So I had a crazy ass idea that Bruce Brown to the Lakers. Bronny was gonna be one and done, then two-way with the Lakers and shit like that. Like, makes mad sense, G. That way Bron doesn't have to leave LA. And then I was thinking we need to send Kyrie to Philly instead of Kyrie staying in Dallas, but Kyrie ended up staying in Dallas. Remember back in the day, I said Kyrie to Philly, right? I said keep James Harden in Brooklyn with Durant, get Ben Simmons back, and then send Kyrie there with Embiid, because it made more sense, because the Sixers, Philadelphia didn't have that law that they had to be vaccinated in them buildings and all that shit. So they should have traded Kyrie for Simmons instead of Harden. If they did, KD would still be there and Kyrie possibly would still there. So instead, Kyrie got traded to the Mavericks this season, and Kyrie signs a 3-year, $126 million contract, and they re-signed Seth Curry, who started his career with Dallas, if I'm not mistaken. So Kyrie got his money. They got to figure it out how him and Luka going to figure it out. You know what I'm saying? J. Kidd will figure it out, though, but they need more. That's not enough. just Kyrie Irving and Seth Curry to possibly be a threat in the West. My winner of free agency, I don't give a fuck if it's a whole bunch of parts put together and they didn't make no big splash, because the big splash is going to come after I say what I got to say about these parts. Los Angeles Lakers. They retain Austin Reeves 4 years for $56 million. Retain Rui Hachimura 3 years for $51 million. They retain D'Angelo Russell 2 years for $37 million. They signed Gabe Vincent 3 years for $33 million. Jackson Hayes got a contract. Taurean Prince got 1 year for $4.5. They got Cam Reddish on like a 2 year. Rob Pelinka has done a hell of a job ever since the trade deadline to put this team, who all out of 3 of those 4 games they lost to the Nuggets, came down to the last 30 seconds of the game. The series was won by, I think, a combined total like 22 points or some shit like that over them 4 games. They were right there with the Nuggets. The Lakers are deep. They can compete with young teams by getting younger and more athletic on the wings. Plus, they have more rim protection and 3-and-D guys now. Kind of what they had when they won the chip. I would have brought that team back. I would have brought everybody back from that motherfucker. I'm not big on dismantling. Like Denver, they in fucking trouble because they lost Bruce Brown and they lost Jeff Green. How you gonna lose them two key pieces off the bench for y'all? I guess y'all saying the cats we got on the bench, we can do better with them at less money. I guess so. Here's the caveat that I said today. Lakers making boss moves. D'Lo and Rui match up to what Kai's getting annually. So think about it. So that's one way the Lakers can go if shit ain't going. You know what I'm saying? Come like December trade deadline, they can go ahead and trade both of them, D'Lo and Rui, for Kyrie. Which might be what Dallas need and shit. Draymond stay home with the Warriors, 4 for $100 million. Rockets give Van Vliet 3 for $130 million. Brooks for $4 for $80 million. Grizzlies signed Desmond Main to that rookie extension. It's a few of them. Bang got a 5 for $207 million. Halliburton for the Pacers got 5 for $260 million. LaMelo Ball got 5 for $260 million. And Anthony Edwards got 5 for $260 million. And Domantas Sabonis got 5 for $217 million. Out of all, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them, Sabonis said he wasn't taking the full money because he wants to give the Kings roster building flexibility in the future over maximizing his earnings. See, he ain't taking the whole bag. He leaving some for the rest of the cats so we can build around us, right? Going back to that Grizzly shit, Desmond Bain is getting paid more than Ja Morant and Triple J. D Rose is going to sign with the Grizzlies. That's going to be a great mentor for Ja. So not only do they got Marcus Smart, they got D Rose. I love that. Next, we signed Cam Johnson, 4 for $108 million. Wizards re-signed Kuzma, 4 for $104. The Bucks, we kept Middleton, 3 for $102 million. He had like 41 or 42 on the books for next year, so he get 102 and spread that shit out. I love that. We signed Brook Lopez, 2 for $48 million. I think we got I forget. We got Malik Beasley and we got Robin Lopez coming back to the Bucks again or whatever. Listen, Giannis is gone in 2 years, so we had to do what we got to do. We got to bring everybody back. So we re-up and get younger with both of these expiring contracts if shit don't work out. You know what I mean? Either Giannis going to leave in 2 years or we get them expiring contracts out of here. You know what I mean? Because I'm sure Middleton got a PO for that third year. So everything is lined up with Giannis. Giannis has an extension. He's extension eligible. It don't make no sense for that. He go to free agency. He hit free agency. He get to max. Max is going to be the highest paid player in the league once he do that in 2 years, and that's it. The Bucks might not be able to afford that shit because there's repeater tax and all that shit. Second apron, I should say. Sixers signed Pat Beverly. Blazers got, who was that? Not Jarian Grant, but one of them Grants. 5 for $160. Cavs signed Max Strus, 4 for $63. Clippers signed Westbrook, 2 for $7.8. Knicks signed Dante DiVincenzo, 4 for $50. So Villanova again with Brunson and Hart. That's what that is. So that's going to be all right. They all won a title together. You know what I mean? That's going to be okay. Now, Dame requests to trade on Saturday. How I feel about that? Reportedly, he wanted to on last Monday after meeting with the management but held out. I believe that was a mistake. Both ways for the team and Dame, because he let day one of the free agency go through that some of the players that are signed could have been part of a deal to land him from Portland and a deal for him to get the fuck up out of Portland. Now, Miami is his preferred destination. He loves the Spurs organization, all this shit. Miami don't have enough now with Gabe and Max signing with other teams. They could have traded Gabe and Max. If they were restricted free agents, I think they might have been able to, or sign and trade or figured out the teams they want to go to, and that's how you get Dame to Miami. So if Gabe went to the Lakers, what y'all got? If Max Strus went to the Cavs, what y'all got? Let's try to get this shit to... And who said other teams were going to help that move? Y'all make this announcement 15 hours after free agency began. So the losers, I said the Lakers was the winners. The losers are the Trailblazers because they don't have to trade Dame and they don't have to help Dame get what he wants. They can put Dame somewhere where they want him to be at. I don't understand. Portland is not in the business of doing what's best for Dame type shit. They got to do what's best for Portland. I just so they should have released it, but Portland shot themselves in the foot because I'm telling you they could have got some shit, right? Speaking of Dame, we talked about Harden. We don't know what he's going to do, right? What about Jaylen Brown? He ain't signed his extension, right? Like $207 million extension for himself. So what's up with that shit? Shouldn't that shit should have been signed by now? So does that mean they don't want to sign him or they want to get him? Now you can, or he don't want to sign with them. He ain't gonna get that max nowhere else though. So is it a sign and trade? Who they gonna sign and trade with? Where could he go? Who can they get things back for? Can you even sign a trade a max salary? All these things that I don't know. But it's very, very, very odd that we've heard nothing about Jaylen Brown and the Celtics. If y'all want to trade Jaylen Brown, what is he, 25? 25, 26, I don't know, maybe. For a 33-year-old Damian Lillard, and the shit don't match up, Boston gonna have to send another $10 million over there to Portland. So, I mean, we can't give up Robert Williams. We ain't gonna give up Al Horford. Who we gonna give up? So, Portland don't need no guards. We can't send Derek White. We can't send Sixth Man of the Year. My man. We can't send him over there. So, yeah. Let me know in the comments, y'all. I'm trying to figure it out though. It doesn't make any sense what's going on, why Jaylen Brown ain't signed that contract. Because they need to just keep him anyway and then just let him make his move. If we're gonna move him around later, we'll move him around later. But I'm giving him and Tatum one more round. We already got rid of Marcus Smart. He wasn't a scapegoat, but man, shit, it's seeming like it now. And if Jaylen Brown, man, listen, he got 1 year left on his contract. Get that man his paper and let's see though. This is very interesting though. Something might be working in the background. Like Brian Windhorst, something's going on and I can't, you know what I'm saying? Let me know in the comments, y'all. All right, switch it up, man. We talk about our sports. Let's talk about the Supreme Court and what happened last week, man. So last week, the Supreme Court of the United States of America ruled affirmative action for college admission is unconstitutional. The case was filed by Asian and white students, right? So we ain't gonna talk about AODC, athletes, donors, legacy students, faculties, children that get preferential entry into these universities. We're talking about minorities, i.e. blacks, that they think they're not getting into these universities for. Let me tell you something. Unless you go into an HBCU campus, there's not a lot of blacks in college. You know what I'm saying? There's not a lot of black people that go to college. There's a lot of white people that go to college. Because white people get in at a higher rate than blacks. That's why they said for college admission, we got to make sure we get more blacks in here. But see, they want to cut DEI funding, diversity, equity, inclusion. So equal opportunity programs and all these programs to get motherfuckers into Marquette or UWM or whatever college, your state college, Maryland and shit, Texas. You can't use that no more to help people stay in the university, let alone get up in there as one of them students from that program. So if we really look at it, is it safe to say that white people get into college on affirmative action more than blacks and other minorities? Because they trump the university numbers. The loophole is for the whites because they get in. And now they're going to get in even more. Without the people of color or the people, I'm people of color, the people of color and the blacks and the low income background students and students with disabilities and all that shit, affirmative action saying nah for that. And we know that shit trickles into places of employment with 15 or more employees. And man, come on now. And then, whatever. I ain't even done. Then, the Supreme Court rejects student loan forgiveness from Biden. He was going to get $10,000 to $20,000 per borrower if you got Perkins loans or not, right? So they already been fucking with the voting rights of blacks, right? Gerrymandering districts. So we know that everybody's going to be on income-driven repayment plans, 5%, 3% or something like that. People still ain't got that money, G. It's going to be very interesting because this is the government's money. You take out a loan, you pay your loan. Yeah, that's right, motherfucker. I need the money to pay the loan. That's the catch. People ain't got money to pay that loan. That's why they're asking for loan forgiveness. Not to hold them out, but cut that shit down so that I can start to pay on my loan. So that's trash. That's one of Biden talking points to campaign promises and shit. So then the Supreme Court also limits LGBTQ rights, right? So a business can refuse to serve members of a protected class. So you can be disabled, you can be a minority, you can be LGBTQ plus IA, whatever. You can be a smart motherfucker, you can be green, you can have blonde hair. I don't want to fuck with you just because I ain't got to no more. Discrimination. This stems from a Colorado web designer who didn't have the business operational, but just threw it out there that she would want to create a website for same-sex weddings out of her religious objections, where that should be case by case. But going out here, I don't like gay motherfuckers, right? Why do you have to say you don't like gay people? Like, just on a case by case basis, you can say that, because I'm sure some straight people that you don't like, but you ain't running around here saying I don't like straight people, because all straight people ain't good and all gay people ain't bad. I wish people would stop this is really irritating me. What you do with your private part and who you love, why is people so enamored with the shit, man? I want somebody to tell me that, because I'm trying to figure it out. I don't understand why people care about that shit so much. Who cares? You know what I'm saying? I don't care. And I want to say what I really want to say. You know what I mean? People that know. I don't care what you do with your D or your P. I don't care why everybody else care what you do with your D or your P. I don't care about it. You know what I mean? I'm trying to be mindful of what's be going on, man. Same-sex marriage is next with this religious, Republican, conservative 6-3 majority of the Supreme Court. Like, partisan politics has infiltrated the court. It's over with. Of course, one party loves the decisions. Oh, yeah, that's right, and this and that, and this and that, and this and that, and the others doesn't. Like, if the Democrats were in control of the Supreme Court, Roe versus Wade wouldn't have been overturned. Affirmative action wouldn't have for college admission would have still been constitutional, and the student loan forgiveness would have passed, and this LGBTQ Colorado web designer would have said that's unconstitutional to discriminate against a protected class of citizens in this country. So go the other way. And then the conservatives would have been mad and say this liberal and far right and this woke agenda and all this bullshit. It comes down to who's in control. So I say expand the amount of justices to 13 to lessen their power. Get more motherfuckers up in there, right? And then lessen the power, man. Or lessen the power of the Supreme Court, because we're going backwards, y'all. All the gains we've made over decades in this country, we're going backwards. And let me tell y'all something. The Jim Crow South, we're only about 60 years out of the Jim Crow South. Motherfuckers had colored bathrooms, colored waiting areas. You can't sit at the diner. You got to go in the back door. Colored water fountains. Got to ride on the back of the bus and shit. We like 60 years out of that shit. That shit ain't too far away, and it ain't too far ahead that we can't go back to that shit, man. It's because these motherfuckers in control. We got to be careful. We got to be very careful about who we don't like, who we don't care for and all that shit. Like, I'm liberal with some things, I'm conservative with others. I wish I get more conservative with my funds, but when you ain't got a whole bunch of funds, it's hard to be conservative with the bitches. You know what I'm saying? But a little bit of something's better than a whole lot of nothing, so I'm going to figure that out, y'all. So let me know in the comments, man, what y'all feel about the Supreme Court and everything that's going on. All right. Final thought of the day of the pod is talking about Disney making their cuts. Now they've gotten to the next round of cuts, and ESPN. First they did the executives of ESPN. Now they're doing the on-air talent. They let 20 people go. I mean, it's a fucked up situation. Keyshawn Johnson, Jason Williams, Max Kellerman. They showed Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max done as a show. Keyshawn was in year one of a 5-year, $18 million contract. Do they got to pay that contract? Max Kellerman made about $5 million a year, and his afternoon show is getting replaced with McAfee anyway. He had a show after he left First Take. I feel sorry for Max. Max was a good dude. That shit with Stephen A, they just didn't get along or whatever. Stephen A want to go in a new direction of the show. But I feel bad for Max because if Max was on First Take, he wouldn't have got moved the fuck around. In my opinion. J. Will contract is up at the end of summer, but it's up now. Shit, Neil Everton, I love Neil. Neil and Stan, they do that West Coast Sports Center shit. Bowed out before the announcement. Shit is bud. November, ESPN will separate their earnings from the Disney parent corporation, which is setting up a different play that I'll talk about later. They're separating their earnings. They're going to isolate them. So that's very interesting to me, and it's a reason for that. We'll talk about that. Fox, NBC, and DraftKings will pick up the majority of this on-air talent that don't want to go out on their own. Jeff Van Gundy, the best in the business, color analyst, basketball shit, part of the dream team with him, Mike Breen, and Mark Jackson. How the fuck is he gone? How the fuck is he gone? You figure it out. You know what I'm saying? What you gonna put Doc Rivers in his spot? Doc Rivers can do some games, but that team is the team. Doc was great, but man, you just can't move. We talked about Kellerman. We talked about Johnson. Susie Colbert. She been there like 27 years. My man Jalen Rose. LaFonso Ellis. The new anchor, Ashley Brewer. I like her. Baseball writer June Lee. Basketball reporter Nick Riddell. I like Nick. Scott Pollock, football. I like Scott. Scott is a nice guy. When he be on PTI, I love Scott. Matt Hasselbeck. Know his shit. Steve Young, my man Steve. Todd Mache. Tata Mache. Vince Carter, Andre Ward, shit, damn, man, damn. So I can see Jalen Rose saying fuck it and doing his own thing, right? He has the shit already set up for him. He go back to YouTube and do his shit. Us Jalen and Jacobyers, we coming back. You know what I mean? Shit, because we got to think about it. Something had to happen while Jacoby left. You know what I mean? He was doing the shit with the Ringer, but I can see Jalen going to the Ringer as well with Bill, right? Because they started this pod shit with Bill. He was on the Ringer and shit. You know what I mean? McAfee reportedly will make $18 million, and motherfuckers killing him. It ain't McAfee fault, and I'm glad Stephen A said, nah, B, McAfee is a product. You know what I mean? I want to be a product, like Joe Rogan and all that. Joe Rogan and Bill Simmons and McAfee, they got a product. That motherfucker, they bounce around from company that want to buy their product. And that's what Stephen A said, shit, that's what I'm trying to do. And I ain't mad at the brother. Hopefully he can be a product too. Stephen A makes $10 to $11 million a year. That ain't his fault neither. Motherfuckers want to get mad. Well, if McAfee and Stephen A take some of the money back, no, you take some of your money back to your job, where you at, and pass the motherfuckers that make less than you or might get fired. I'll wait. Blame cord cutting and the losses of subscribers, right? What did I listen to? I was listening to something today, and they were talking about how there were the height of ESPN, they had 100 million subscriptions on cable and satellite. Now the shit down to 70 million. Well, you take 30 million subscribers at however much a pop, you're going to get that. Also, Stephen A pointed out, the pandemic, motherfucker, Disney cannot open them theme parks. That money had to get cut. You know what I'm saying? Somehow, some way. And they just not cutting ESPN. All the shit that Disney owned, National Geographic, all this shit. They cutting everywhere. Simple math. We ain't making the money we used to. We can't pay the people we used to. We getting some of these people up out of here. Going back to, in November this year, ESPN will separate their earnings from the Disney parent corp. Disney may sell ESPN. Now, we talked about Fox and NBC and DraftKings. Fox has enough money to buy ESPN. They got Fox Sports. It's just absorb everybody. That's all we do is we absorb them. Just like the Bally Fox Sports shit, and they allowed Fox Sports to do their thing, but they sold all them regional sports networks, Fox did, and gave it to Bally. Do that shit with ESPN. NBC can buy ESPN. They can absorb them. They have the money to absorb them. DraftKings, all you motherfuckers betting on them shit, they have the money to absorb ESPN and just say, fuck it, we'll buy them. We'll buy ESPN. I wonder what ESPN is valued as. Let me do that right fast before we get up out of here. ESPN value. Let me see. Oh shit bugged out. All right. Anyway, ESPN value. We'll look at it. I ain't got time for that. All right, y'all. Hope you have a great holiday today. I'm still working. Y'all see what I'm doing. So just make sure you enjoy yourself. Make sure whatever you do it safely. And make sure you get your confidence together, get your clutch together, support your own, listen to and follow the network on various platforms, confidenceintheclutch.podbean.com. Wherever you listen to your podcast, search Confidence in the Clutch. Follow, share, rate, and review. It's important. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at KITK. Visit us on Facebook at Confidence in the Clutch. Weekly. Donald Nelson, Dizzle, Deezy, Deezus, Deezos, Don P, Don D, Donrilla. Host Confidence in the Clutch podcast with Donald Nelson, a Confidence in the Clutch podcast about sports, entertainment, music, culture, religion, politics, and society. Have a safe and healthy night. If you're listening during the daytime, create a great day on purpose. Hey, man, that Larry June shit, that shit cold with Alchemist. I've been listening to that shit. That shit fire. Y'all be safe out here, man. Peace. 3, 2, 1. Confidence on 3, in the clutch on 6. 1, 2, 3.
Confidence.
4, 5, 6.
In the clutch.
Confidence in the clutch.